Our number 4 poem is The Windhover by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Now, anyone who knows anything about poetry knows that Hopkins is on another level with his poetry. The guy comes out swinging and doesn't stop. I heard it said once that Hopkins was a kind of precursor for hip-hop, and I think that's a brilliant observation for what he's doing sonically in his poems. The music of his language is pushed to its limit. It's bursting out of the poem. Hopkins was born in Stratford in 1844. His parents were deeply religious. Hopkins was a talented painter, a skilled draftsman, and studied at Oxford, where he converted to Catholicism, which estranged him from his family. Now, Hopkins coined multiple terms for his own poetry, including sprung rhythm, inscape, and in-stress. Sprung rhythm was an attempt to break out of the conformities of fixed meter, whereas inscape and in-stress were the words he used to describe how God's essence manifests in each individual thing. The Windhover is a perfect illustration of these concepts, and apparently Hopkins wrote in a letter in 1879 that this poem was the best thing he'd ever written. The poem is dedicated to Christ our Lord and captures the experience of watching a falcon soaring in the sky. It's a Petrarchan or Italian sonnet, and look at how cleverly Hopkins uses rhyme. The word kingdom is broken up so that king ends the line, a reference to Christ the King. Hopkins uses language like Plato here, but with such control, such power. He makes the language do whatever he wants. Look at the repetition and forceful alliteration. I caught this morning's minion, and daylight's dauphin dappled dawn-drawn falcon. Hopkins uses the word ecstasy with an exclamation point in line 7, and I think that captures the spirit of this whole poem. He uses 3 more exclamation points later, writes the word and in all caps, and even puts stress marks on top of the words sheer plod. This means the reader is being guided to pronounce these words as a spondee, as in bookmark, where both words are stressed, instead of iambic, the metrical constraint Hopkins was trying to break away from. When Hopkins writes, my heart in hiding stirred for a bird, the achieve of, the mastery of the thing. Achieve is a verb, but Hopkins bends it into a noun, like mastery, the achieve of, the mastery of the thing. There are no words for this beauty. The line also feels self-referential. Not only is this falcon demonstrating its divine essence, but so is he as a poet. Hopkins's essence, his version of the hurl and gliding, is this poem. Lastly, in the line, brute beauty and valor and act, oh, air, pride, plume. Another poet wouldn't say oh in the middle of a line. He'd feel too self-conscious. But Hopkins does. He writes the way he would speak aloud. It's his full, authentic, vulnerable expression, with emotion spilling out of it as he's writing it. And later, ah, my dear. The energy and vigor pouring out of Hopkins in this poem is astonishing.